The Ballad of the San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino, or How a Luxury Hotel Stole My Joy and Left Me with Only Rage and a 70 Resort Fee. Oh, gather round, my fellow travelers, and let me tell you a tale so tragic, so unjust, that even the ghosts of hospitality past would weep into their monogrammed handkerchiefs. This is the story of how the San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino took my dreams of paradise and fed them through a shredder, then charged me for the privilege. Act I, the grand deception, or lies wrapped in a Marriott logo. I arrived, dear friends, with a heart full of hope and a credit card full of limits. The website promised luxury, the photos whispered serenity, the fine print, oh, the fine print screamed gotcha. The resort fee scam, a cool $70 per day after booking, of course, for towels, coffee, the audacity to breathe their air. This isn't transparency, this is financial ambush. Imagine buying a cake, then being told the frosting costs extra after you've already taken a bite. This is why capitalism needs a timeout. The room of horrors. I opened the door to my deluxe sanctuary and gas human hair on the pillow, not just any hair, mystery hair. The kind that makes you question every life choice leading to this moment. The mirrors, decorated with handprints of guests past, like a crime scene where the victim was basic hygiene. Housekeeping, more like house avoiding. Act II. The staff who clearly hate happiness let us talk about the front desk warlords. Zulica Romero, a name now etched into my nightmares. All I asked was to put on my own beach wristband so it wouldn't cut off my circulation. Her response, yanking my arm like a feral child pulling a wishbone, when I dared request an apology, I am just doing my job. Ah yes, the battle cry of the emotionally bankrupt, the bartender who moved at the speed of molasses. Ordering a drink here is like waiting for a sloth to finish a marathon. No people skills, just the vibe of a man who'd rather be anywhere else. Sweetie, same, the Ocean Club debacle. One poor soul spent $15K a year as a loyal member, only to be treated like a nuisance when asking for a single guest wristband. The supervisor's solution, deny his renewal and keep his $1,200 initiation fee. This isn't customer service, it's corporate villainy. Act III, the little things that stole my soul, the AC that barely tried, set to 65F but delivered lukewarm disappointment. The room, a sauna of despair. The Wi-Fi that ghosted me, one bar, maybe two, then poof gone like my will to live. The beach that wasn't locked gates, no guests allowed. Meanwhile the public frolicked freely. Why? Because the Marriott hates joy. The 50 credit that was a lie, use it at the bar, they said, except the pool bar, because nothing says luxury like fine print betrayal. Act IV, the final insult, because why stop now? Parking roulette. Told it DB20 for a few hours. Surprise, 47 later the machine ate my cash and the staff shrugged like they just watched a puppy drown. Cool, cool, the platinum member snub. Upgrades for everyone unless you raid the loyal Bonvoy member who actually earned it. Hilton, take me away. Epilogue, a haunting in Puerto Rico, so here I sit, dear reader, a shell of the hopeful traveler I once was. The San Juan Marriott didn't just fail it weaponized.
You know, I was looking into crimes near San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino, and I have to say it's like super scary, you know. Businesses around here are like, really good at taking your money but not so good at keeping their promises. Like take this one case, you know. There was this company that was supposed to do some home renovation project in Condado, which is like, super close to San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino. They took a lot of money from the owner, but they didn't do anything like at all. They just disappeared, and the owner was left with a broken house and no money. I mean, can you imagine? You're on vacation, you're trying to relax, and then you find out you've been scammed. It's like the worst feeling, you know. I bet the owner was like totally devastated, you know. They probably felt so stupid for trusting these people. And the police are still investigating, but I'm sure it's going to be hard to catch these scammers. They're like experts at hiding, you know. And then there's this other case, you know. There was this investment scheme that targeted locals and visitors, including people staying near San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino. They promised high returns, but it was all a lie. They just took people's money and ran. I mean, how could you do that to someone? It's like so wrong, you know. I predict that the victims were like super angry and disappointed. They probably felt like they'd been stupid for trusting these people. And the authorities are still trying to catch the scammers, but it's going to be hard. They're like ghosts, you know. And have you heard about this storefront business in San Juan that was involved in mail, wire and bank fraud? They stole people's identities and money, and it's like so serious. I mean, can you imagine if someone stole your identity and used it to commit crimes? It's like the worst nightmare. I bet the victims were totally shocked and scared. They probably felt like they'd been violated. And the authorities are still investigating, but it's going to be hard to catch these scammers. They're like experts at covering their tracks. And then there's this family who was selling plots of land they didn't own to unsuspecting buyers. They had a storefront office in San Juan, near San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino, and they just took people's money and disappeared. I mean, how could you do that to someone? It's so wrong. I predict that the victims were super angry and disappointed. They probably felt like they'd been stupid for trusting these people. And the authorities are still trying to catch them, but it's going to be hard. They're slippery. And finally, there's this case of a man and his local business who were involved in bank fraud. They issued fake checks and laundered money, and it's so serious. I mean, can you imagine if someone stole your money and used it to commit crimes? It's like the worst feeling. I bet the victims were totally shocked and scared. They probably felt like they'd been violated. And the authorities are still investigating, but it's going to be hard to catch these scammers. They're experts at hiding.
The reality of businesses near San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino. If you're staying at the San Juan Marriott Resort Stellaris Casino, you might assume the surrounding businesses match its polished facade. Unfortunately, that assumption would be wrong. The businesses nearby, they're a mixed bag of disappointment, inflated prices, and service so cold it could preserve ice. Let's start with shopping. The Mall of San Juan is the kind of place that makes you question reality. It's not a mall, it's a luxury purgatory. Designer stores sit empty, mocking anyone who isn't ready to drop a month's rent on a belt. The few restaurants inside feel like afterthoughts, and the staff, some act like you're trespassing in their private showroom. One visitor described the experience as boring, yawn, all high-end shops, which is retail code for if you're not rich, keep walking. Another was blunt, tiny, like 30 minutes and you're done. Then there's the Ritz-Carlton San Juan, a name that should mean excellence, but here, it's a masterclass in how to charge 5-star prices for 2-star service. Guests report rooms stuck in the 1970s, beds that feel like torture devices, and staff who treat you like an inconvenience. One family booked a fantastic pool view, only to stare at construction instead. When they complained, silence. Another guest found their sheets smelling like rotten fish and manure. At nearly $1,000 a night you'd expect better, but no, hungry. Cosina Abiata promises an upscale dining experience but delivers chaos. Servers ignore you, managers argue with guests, and the food arrives slower than a sloth on vacation. One group waited 30 minutes just to order, only to be met with indifference. Another diner watched the manager delete their reservation in real time after flipping them off. The portions, tiny, the attitude, massive. For a quick bite, Kazolta Bakery might tempt you, don't. The pastries are dry, the coffee is served with a side of disdain, and the staff act like you've ruined their day by ordering. One visitor described the tiramisu as pancake syrup, which is not a compliment. Another was yelled at for asking about cold coffee. Even President Obama's visit in 2014 can't save this place from its own decline. Nightlife, La Factoria is famous, but fame doesn't mean quality. Bartenders ignore you, bouncers invent arbitrary rules, and the drinks taste like watered-down regret. One guest stood at the bar for 10 minutes while staff chatted amongst themselves. Another was turned away for being under 23, despite Puerto Rico's drinking age being 18. The vibe, living off its legacy, as one reviewer put it. La Placita de Santos, avoid. Described as ghetto and lacking any authentic charm, it's a place where even the beer arrives warm. One group